What drives someone to act selflessly in moments of disregard? This question lies at the heart of the tale of Lee Min-ho, a world-renowned Korean actor, whose unexpected encounter at a bustling New York City restaurant unfolds into a story of empathy, surprise, and human connection. Lee Min-ho had decided to spend his afternoon exploring the vibrant streets of Manhattan before his scheduled appearance at a major film event later that evening. As the sun began to set, his steps led him to a quaint and highly recommended local eatery known for its exquisite fusion cuisine. The place buzzed with the chatter of diners and clinking glasses, a symphony of everyday life. Upon entering, Lee's presence went surprisingly unnoticed, contrary to the usual fanfare he was accustomed to back in Seoul. He took a seat at a corner table, offering him a view of the street and the restaurant's interior. The waitstaff, busy with the dinner rush, hustled past him, each absorbed in their tasks. Minutes ticked by, turning into half an hour, and yet, Lee remained unattended. No menu, no water, nothing but the passing glances of other patrons who also seemed oblivious to the identity of this lone diner. It was then that he noted a particular waitress, her eyes flickering with subtle recognition but quickly averting his gaze whenever their eyes met. Her name tag read Jessica. She moved with an air of urgency but seemed purposefully to avoid his table. Curiosity piqued, Lee continued to observe her, noting her interactions with other customers, smiles, polite nods, and attentive service. It was a stark contrast to the neglect he was experiencing. As the clock continued, Lee's initial amusement turned to mild irritation, then to a reflective concern. What could be the reason for such deliberate avoidance? Was it possible that his fame had elicited a negative response? Just as he was contemplating leaving, a young boy at a nearby table accidentally knocked over his glass, spilling water all over the floor. As Jessica rushed to attend to the mess, her foot slipped, sending her crashing to the ground amidst the broken glass and spilled water. The restaurant fell silent. Patrons stared, some reaching for their phones, possibly to snap photos of the incident or of him. In that frozen moment, Lee's celebrity instincts urged him to stay seated, to maintain his privacy. But something else, a deeper, more compassionate part of him stirred. He rose from his seat and made his way to Jessica. Helping her up, he brushed off the hands of those who were more interested in filming than assisting. "Are you all right?" he asked, his voice laced with genuine concern. Jessica, her cheeks flushed with embarrassment and surprise, nodded. "I'm fine, thank you," she managed, her voice a whisper. Ignoring the murmurs and the continued flashes from smartphones, Lee bent down, helping her pick up the shards of glass. Other staff members joined in, and soon, the mess was cleared. The room had returned to its rhythm, but the air was changed, charged with a new energy. Lee returned to his seat, and this time, Jessica approached him, menu in hand, her earlier hesitation replaced by a shy smile. "I'm sorry for the oversight," she said, her voice stronger now. "It's just, well, it's not every day we have a celebrity who blends in so well with everyone else." Lee chuckled, waving off her apology. "It's quite refreshing actually, being treated like everyone else," he admitted. As the evening progressed, Jessica shared snippets of her life, a single mother, working 2 jobs, struggling to keep up with both the demands of life and the aspirations she held for her son. In turn, Lee shared his own stories of hardships and the unpredictability of life in the limelight. When it was time to leave, Lee did something that shocked everyone. Instead of simply paying his bill, he left a generous tip and his business card with a note written on the back, "For your son's education fund. Keep inspiring him, just as you've inspired me tonight." The room, filled with once indifferent patrons, erupted into applause, not for the celebrity but for the moment of human kindness that bridged the gap between the ordinary and the famous. As Lee Min-ho walked out into the night, the question of why someone would act selflessly in moments of disregard found its answer, because sometimes, it's the unnoticed moments that hold the power to change lives. In a world quick to judge and slow to understand, acts of kindness speak the loudest. Reflecting on the evening's events as he walked through the cool night air, Lee Min-ho felt a profound sense of fulfillment that surpassed any acclaim he had received for his acting roles. The incident at the restaurant had given him an unexpected opportunity to connect on a human level, far removed from the spotlight of stardom. In the days that followed, the story of what occurred at the restaurant began to circulate on social media, with patrons who had witnessed the event sharing their perspectives. Videos of Lee helping Jessica, followed by his generous gesture, went viral, sparking a widespread discussion about celebrity, empathy, and the everyday struggles of ordinary people. The media was abuzz with headlines that ranged from Lee Min-ho's act of kindness to a star's humility shines in NYC. Interviews requests poured in, but Lee chose to direct the focus away from himself and onto broader issues of community support and kindness. He participated in a few select interviews, during which he emphasized the importance of looking beyond oneself and acknowledging the hardships and triumphs of others. Meanwhile, Jessica's life began to change in ways she had never imagined. The tip Lee left her was more than just financial assistance, it was a symbol of hope and possibility. Encouraged by Lee's generosity and the support of the community that rallied around her story, she started a fund to help other single parents in her situation. The fund gained traction, receiving donations from people touched by her story and inspired by Lee's example. Jessica and Lee kept in touch, their unlikely friendship blossoming over shared ideals and mutual respect. Lee learned more about the challenges faced by working single parents in the U.S., while Jessica gained insight into the pressures of life under public scrutiny. Their conversations were a bridge between worlds, each teaching the other valuable lessons about resilience and compassion. 1 year later, they reunited at a charity event organized to support the fund Jessica had established. The event was well attended, with many eager to support the cause and catch a glimpse of the celebrity whose act of kindness had sparked such a powerful movement. As Lee addressed the crowd, he shared his reflections on the importance of random acts of kindness. Each of us has the potential to impact others in profound ways, often from the most unexpected actions, he said. By choosing empathy over indifference, we can initiate waves of change that reach far beyond our immediate surroundings. The crowd listened, moved by his words and the evident sincerity behind them. The event raised significant funds, ensuring that Jessica's initiative would continue to help those in need for years to come. As the evening drew to a close, Lee and Jessica stood together, looking out at the crowd of supportive faces. They knew that their shared experience had not only transformed their own lives but had also ignited a larger dialogue about kindness, community, and the interconnectedness of human experiences. Lee's encounter with Jessica had begun as an overlooked moment in a busy restaurant, but it had evolved into a testament to the impact of empathy and understanding. It was a reminder that, in a world quick to judge and slow to understand, the simplest acts of kindness could indeed speak the loudest and resonate the longest. In that moment, Lee Min-ho realized that the true measure of a person's influence wasn't just in the roles they played on screen, but in the authenticity and compassion they brought into the world off-screen. And for Jessica, the journey from a struggling waitress to a community leader was a powerful affirmation of her strength and potential, propelled by the kindness of a stranger who saw her not as a background character in his story, but as the hero in her own. Continuing from the charity event, Lee Min-ho and Jessica took a moment to step away from the crowd, finding a quiet corner to reflect on the journey they had embarked upon together. It was a rare pause in a whirlwind of activity, a moment to breathe and take stock of how far they had both come. "Look at all of this, Jessica," Lee said, gesturing towards the bustling room filled with laughter and lively conversations. "All from one small act of kindness. It's really quite incredible." Jessica smiled, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "It is. I never imagined that night at the restaurant would lead to this. You've changed my life, Lee, and the lives of so many others." Lee shook his head modestly. "We did this together. Your strength and determination inspired me just as much as I might have helped you." Their conversation was a heartfelt exchange between two individuals who had profoundly impacted each other's lives. It wasn't just about the financial assistance or the public recognition but about the human connection they had forged under the most unlikely circumstances. As they talked, a young woman approached them cautiously. "Excuse me, Mr. Lee, Miss Jessica," she began, her voice trembling slightly with nerves. "I just wanted to say thank you. The fund helped me go back to school while still being able to care for my daughter. I don't know where we'd be without your help." Jessica reached out and took the woman's hand, squeezing it gently. "We're so glad we could help. How is your daughter doing?" "She's great, thank you. She just started kindergarten, and she loves it," the woman replied, her face brightening. Lee watched the interaction, his heart full. This was the ripple effect of kindness, the waves spreading far and wide, touching lives he and Jessica would never fully know but were profoundly connected to. As the event came to a close, Lee and Jessica promised to continue their efforts, not just through the fund but by advocating for kindness and support within their respective spheres of influence. They parted ways, but the bond between them remained, a permanent reminder of the power of empathy and action. Months rolled into years, and the stories of those helped by the fund grew. Lee continued his acting career, always mindful of the platform he had to inspire and encourage others. Jessica, bolstered by the success of the fund, became a spokesperson for single parents and working families, her own story a beacon of hope. The restaurant where it all began remained a place of significance for them both. They would occasionally meet there, sitting at the same table where Lee had been ignored and then helped, reminiscing and planning future projects. Their story, a blend of serendipity and purpose, continued to inspire. It was featured in documentaries, taught in schools as a lesson in character education, and served as a case study at conferences focused on social change and community involvement. Through it all, Lee and Jessica remained humble, always redirecting the praise back to the community and the countless unnamed individuals who contributed small acts of kindness every day. They knew that their story was just one of many, each with the potential to ignite change and foster a culture of empathy and support. In a world often clouded by cynicism and detachment, their journey stood as a testament to the enduring impact of kindness. It was a narrative that transcended cultural and geographic boundaries, reminding everyone that while we might forget the deeds, the essence of genuine kindness resonates forever. Lee Min-ho and Jessica's unexpected encounter had blossomed into a movement that neither of them had anticipated, proving that even the simplest acts can lead to extraordinary outcomes. Their legacy was not defined by fame or wealth but by the warmth and hope they sparked in the hearts of others, a true measure of what it means to make a difference in the world. As the years passed, the fund that Jessica and Lee had started continued to grow, reaching beyond the community to impact lives nationwide. Their efforts were not just about financial assistance, they were about empowering individuals, giving them the tools and opportunities to change their own lives and, in turn, inspire others. Lee Min-ho, despite his busy schedule, made it a point to stay deeply involved in the project. He used every platform available to him, awards shows, press conferences, social media, to talk about the fund and the importance of compassion in today's fast-paced world. His dedication brought more visibility to the cause, attracting contributions from other celebrities, influencers, and philanthropists who were moved by his commitment and Jessica's resilience. Jessica, on her part, became an advocate for social change, speaking at schools and conferences about her journey from a struggling single mother to a leader in community support. Her story was not just an inspiration, it was a call to action. She encouraged others to look within their communities and find ways to support those who are often overlooked or underestimated. The restaurant where it all began also saw a transformation. The owner, inspired by Jessica's story and Lee's kindness, started a program where a portion of the restaurant's earnings on certain days was donated to the fund. The establishment became a community hub, a place where people didn't just come to eat but to connect and share their own stories of hardship and hope. On the 5th anniversary of their first meeting, Lee and Jessica organized a gala event, bringing together everyone who had supported their journey. The event was not just a fundraiser but a celebration of community and human connection. People from all walks of life, those who had been helped by the fund and those who had contributed, shared their stories on a stage that was once graced by one of the biggest stars in Asia. During the event, a short film was shown, documenting the fund's journey, featuring testimonials from those who had been helped. The film concluded with a message from Lee and Jessica, standing side by side, their friendship as strong as ever. 5 years ago, a simple act of kindness brought us together, and since then, we've seen how far-reaching those acts can be, Lee said, his voice filled with emotion. Jessica added, "It's about more than just giving, it's about empowering. Each of you has shown us that when we come together, the impact can be incredible." The gala raised a significant amount, ensuring the continuation of the fund's activities and its expansion into new areas. The success of the night was a testament to the power of unity and the human capacity for empathy and generosity. As the night drew to a close, Lee and Jessica stood once more before the crowd, hand in hand, their smiles bright and hopeful. "This isn't just our story anymore," Jessica said. "It's the story of all of us, of what we can achieve together. Let's keep this spirit alive, let's continue to support each other and make a difference where we can." Lee nodded, his eyes scanning the room filled with inspired faces. This is just the beginning. Together, we can create a legacy of kindness that outlives us all. With that, the crowd erupted in applause, not just for Lee and Jessica, but for themselves, for their part in this journey of change and goodwill. As people began to leave, many lingered, reluctant to end the night that symbolized so much hope and promise. Conversations continued, connections were strengthened, and plans were made. The energy in the room was palpable, a mix of determination and optimism, a collective commitment to continue the work started by two unlikely friends on a night that changed their lives forever. In that room, under the soft glow of the chandeliers, it was clear that this was more than just a fund or a gala, it was a movement, a growing force fueled by the belief that kindness can indeed change the world. And as Lee and Jessica watched everyone, their hearts full, they knew that this was their greatest role yet, not as a celebrity or a waitress, but as catalysts for a kindness revolution that would hopefully resonate for generations to come. Lee Min-ho and Jessica left the gala with a profound sense of accomplishment and a renewed commitment to their cause. As they walked through the emptying hall, they reflected on the evening's events and the powerful testimonials they had heard. It was clear that their initiative was more than just a fund, it had become a beacon of hope and a catalyst for community solidarity. The following day, as the sun rose over the city, Lee was back at his apartment, staring out at the skyline. Despite his fatigue, he felt energized by the previous night's success. He picked up his phone and scrolled through messages and social media, smiling at the overwhelming support and positive feedback from the gala. But amidst the celebratory notes, one message stood out. It was from a young man named Daniel, who had attended the gala and wanted to share his story with Lee personally. Moved by the message, Lee arranged to meet Daniel at a local coffee shop. When they met, Daniel appeared nervous but eager to talk. He shared how the fund had helped him start a small business after years of struggling with unemployment due to a disability. He expressed his gratitude and explained how the support had not only changed his financial situation but had also given him a sense of dignity and purpose. Lee listened intently, his heart swelling with pride and empathy. He realized that these stories were the real success of their efforts. He thanked Daniel for sharing his journey and assured him that the fund would continue to support individuals like him. Inspired by Daniel's story, Lee decided to take a more active role in the day-to-day operations of the fund. He wanted to ensure that they could reach and impact more lives. He discussed this with Jessica, who was thrilled at the idea. Together, they plan to expand the fund's outreach programs and explore new initiatives to provide skills training and job placement services. Meanwhile, Jessica continued her advocacy work, traveling to different cities to speak about the fund and her personal journey. At each event, she met individuals who shared their stories of hardship and triumph, reinforcing the importance of the fund's work. Months passed, and the fund grew larger and more influential. Lee and Jessica's efforts were recognized globally, and they were invited to international forums and conferences to speak about their work. Their story was also featured in a best-selling book that chronicled stories of resilience and kindness from around the world. As the fund's 10th anniversary approached, Lee and Jessica planned a special event, not just to celebrate the milestone but to launch a new initiative aimed at empowering youth in underserved communities. They envisioned a program that would offer mentorship, education, and resources to help young people pursue their dreams and contribute positively to their communities. The anniversary event was a huge success, attended by supporters, beneficiaries, and media from around the world. During the event, Lee and Jessica unveiled the new Youth Empowerment Program, which was met with enthusiastic support and pledges from numerous attendees. As they stood on stage, looking out at the crowd of inspired faces, Lee and Jessica felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude and purpose. They had started this journey from a simple act of kindness in a restaurant, and now they were leading a global movement. In their closing remarks, Lee addressed the audience, his voice full of emotion. This journey began with a single act of kindness, but it has grown into a worldwide testament to the power of compassion and community. Each of you plays a vital role in this story, and together, we are crafting a legacy that will continue to inspire and empower for generations. Jessica added, "Our work is far from over. There are still many challenges to face and lives to touch. But with your continued support and engagement, we can keep this momentum going. Let's continue to spread kindness and change the world, one heart at a time." The crowd rose to their feet, applauding loudly, not just for Lee and Jessica, but for the collective spirit of generosity and action that they had all embraced. As the applause echoed through the hall, it was clear that this was more than just a fund or an anniversary. It was a lifelong commitment to making the world a better place, driven by the simple but powerful philosophy of kindness. As the applause settled and the evening came to a close, Lee and Jessica mingled with the guests, their hearts full of joy and determination. Each handshake and each story shared added fuel to their passion for the cause. They were not just attending another charity event, they were weaving a tapestry of community and support that stretched across the globe. The next day, as they reviewed the event's success and the launch of their new youth empowerment program, they realized the profound impact they could have. They discussed strategies for the upcoming year, focusing on sustainable growth and deeper community engagement. Their conversation was a blend of excitement and seriousness, knowing the road ahead would require even more commitment and innovation. Over the following months, Lee and Jessica traveled extensively, visiting program sites, meeting with local leaders, and engaging with the youth. They conducted workshops and seminars, not just to educate but to listen, to understand the unique challenges faced by different communities. Their approach was hands-on, and their presence brought hope and motivation to many young people who had felt overlooked by society. Amidst these travels, a particular visit to a rural community in Southeast Asia became a defining moment in their journey. They met a group of young women who had started a small craft business with the help of the fund. These young women shared stories of their hardships and how the support had empowered them to not only earn a living but also become role models in their community. Touched by their stories and resilience, Lee proposed a new initiative, a global marketplace platform where artisans from underserved communities could sell their crafts directly to consumers worldwide. The idea was met with great enthusiasm, and work began to bring this vision to life. Jessica took charge of the project, using her growing network to connect with technology experts and business leaders who could help make the platform a reality. Meanwhile, Lee focused on broadening the fund's visibility and influence. He leveraged his celebrity status to engage more public figures and corporations in the cause. His efforts were not just about raising funds but creating a collective movement where everyone could contribute their skills and resources to make a significant impact. As the marketplace platform launched, it was a hit. Artisans from various countries were able to showcase their products to a global audience, and the success stories multiplied. The platform not only provided a steady income for these artisans but also highlighted their cultural crafts and stories, promoting diversity and understanding. The success of the platform led to more ambitious projects. Lee and Jessica launched an educational series that featured stories of empowerment and entrepreneurship, providing free learning resources for young people worldwide. They partnered with educational institutions to create scholarships and internships, making education more accessible and aligned with real-world skills. Years passed, and the fund's influence continued to grow. What started as a simple act of kindness in a restaurant had blossomed into a global movement, changing countless lives and communities. Lee and Jessica's partnership, built on mutual respect and shared values, had become a powerful force for good. On the 15th anniversary of their first meeting, a documentary was released, chronicling their journey and the impact of their work. The premiere was attended by dignitaries, celebrities, and community leaders from around the world. The documentary not only celebrated their achievements but also sparked a renewed interest in social entrepreneurship and community activism. As they stood together on stage after the documentary screening, Lee and Jessica knew that their journey was far from over. They announced the next phase of their initiative, a global leadership program designed to train the next generation of social leaders. Lee addressed the audience, his voice steady and inspiring. "This is our legacy, a commitment to empowerment, education, and kindness. We invite each of you to join us as we continue to build bridges and break down barriers. Together, we can create a world where compassion leads the way." Jessica concluded, "Our story began unexpectedly, a reminder that the smallest moments can lead to the most significant changes. Thank you for being part of this journey. Let's continue to dream big and act with courage, for the ripple effect of our actions is limitless." The crowd rose to a standing ovation, moved by their words and energized by the vision of a more connected and compassionate world. Lee and Jessica stepped down from the stage, their hands together, ready to embark on the next chapter of their transformative journey, fueled by the unstoppable power of kindness and collaboration. As the applause echoed through the grand hall, Lee and Jessica mingled with the crowd, their spirits buoyed by the enthusiastic support and the clear impact of their vision. Each handshake and heartfelt conversation added depth to their understanding of how far-reaching their efforts had been and how much further they could go. In the weeks that followed, they worked tirelessly on the new global leadership program, designed to nurture a network of young leaders from diverse backgrounds. They envisioned these leaders as catalysts for change in their own communities, equipped with the skills and knowledge to advance social justice and economic equality. Their travels took them to various corners of the globe, from bustling cities in Africa to quiet rural villages in Asia, each place offering its own unique challenges and opportunities for growth. They met with local educators, community leaders, and enthusiastic youth, all eager to be part of this expanding wave of change. One such visit took them to a small town in Brazil, where they encountered Maria, a young teacher who had started a community center for children to learn and play safely while their parents worked. Maria shared her dream of expanding this center into a full-fledged educational facility that offered vocational training and life skills classes. Inspired by her passion and dedication, Lee and Jessica decided to feature Maria's project in their leadership program, providing her with the resources and global platform to attract more support and recognition. Back in their office, they pored over applications for the leadership program, each candidate more promising than the last. They selected a diverse group of young visionaries, including tech innovators, environmental activists, and social entrepreneurs. Each of these leaders was invited to a week-long summit where they would receive intensive training and mentoring, culminating in a project showcase to potential investors and global media. The summit was a vibrant hub of ideas and inspiration. Mentors from various fields, including business, technology, and the arts, conducted workshops on topics such as sustainable development, digital marketing, and ethical leadership. The young leaders thrived, their projects taking shape in ways that even they had not anticipated. On the final day of the summit, the project showcase was a resounding success. Projects ranged from an app that connected leftover food from restaurants with food banks, to a new method of purifying water using solar energy. The creativity and potential impact of these projects drew interest from around the world, leading to funding offers, partnerships, and plans for expansion. Jessica and Lee watched from the sidelines, their hearts full of pride. They had ignited a spark in these young leaders, who were now ready to light up the world with their innovative solutions and boundless energy. As they wrapped up the summit, a journalist asked Lee what motivated him to start this journey. He smiled, recalling the day at the restaurant, a simple moment of feeling overlooked that had sparked so much more. "It's about turning every challenge into an opportunity to make a difference," Lee explained. "Every interaction, every setback has the potential to lead to something greater. We just need to be open to the possibilities." Jessica added, "And it's about connection. By connecting people from different backgrounds and with different skills, we create a powerful community of changemakers." This summit isn't just a training ground, it's the beginning of a lifelong journey for these leaders. As the summit concluded and the participants said their goodbyes, plans were already underway for the next one, with more leaders and even broader outreach. Lee and Jessica knew that their work was far from done, but they were energized by the progress and inspired.